What's up YouTube? It's MasterAquatics and I'm bringing you guys another video. Alright, so before I even begin, there's a part 1 and there's a part 2. You can check out both of those videos down in the description. I got links for both of those videos, and part 1 was actually really popular. I got a lot of views on that one. You might enjoy it too, so don't forget to check it out. It'll mean a lot to me and it might make your day. Who knows? A lot of people like the video. You might like it too, or you might absolutely hate it. But either way, let's get on with the video. I got a lot to talk about. So this is going to be another video about top small fish that get extremely big. You know, the fish that you see at the store and they're really small and you're like, oh, that's a nice fish, I would love to buy this fish, but you don't know how big it gets, and you have a 20-gallon tank in your house and you buy it, and then you realize after you do your research, oh, these fish get extremely big. So that's the type of fish that I'm going to be talking about. And the first one is the iridescent shark. I'm pretty sure I am butchering that name, but this shark is actually not a shark, and it's native to rivers in Southeast Asia. Although they call it a shark, it's a type of catfish from Southeast Asia. And the meat on this fish is sometimes sold for consumption out in Vietnam. The meat out there is called swai, S-W-A-I. This fish is a plant eater, so it will not do well with plants, so don't keep them in a planted tank. It's a tropical freshwater fish, and it'll do great in temperature ranges of 72 degrees through 79 degrees Fahrenheit, and a water hardness of 2.0 and a 6.5 pH. A lot of time these fish are sold small at pet shops by mistake to people who think they will stay small. These fish require a large group and lots of open spaces in the aquarium. They can grow up to 3 feet in length, but in aquariums they can grow up to 6 to 12 inches. Alright, and the next fish that I have here is the peacock bass. Now these fish are native to Florida and they are a tropical freshwater fish. The peacock bass is the largest of all cichlid fish. They can grow over 100 centimeters. Now it is said to sex them. The males can be identified by a hump on their forehead. Few but not all females may also have the hump on their head. They are oftentimes referred to as peacock bass because they can be easily identified by the eye on their tail fin that looks similar to an eye on the feather of a peacock. They also mainly compose of 3 colors: green, orange, and yellow, sometimes a grayish or blue color. These fish require huge fish tanks. A 300-gallon tank is suitable. Tank mates should be fish that are just too big to swallow, you know, such as Oscars and other large cichlids. Those make great tank mates. It is best to feed these fish live fish such as minnows. Don't feed them goldfish because that's not healthy for the fish. Suitable temp ranges for the peacock bass is 78 degrees to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. They can be fed frozen foods such as krill and bloodworms. These fish can also be trained to take pellets, although it's difficult to train them to eat that, but eventually they will catch on. These fish cause a lot of waste, so be prepared to do lots of water changes to avoid ammonia spikes and to maintain high water quality for this fish. So make sure you got good filtration. Make sure you have time to clean up after this fish. It's like a small puppy in a glass box. You know, you're gonna have to do a lot to maintain the cleanliness in this water. Alright, so the next fish that we have here is the Peacock fish, or the Pantano cichlid. Now I do apologize if I'm butchering some of these names. Just a disclaimer, I was bad at reading, so don't judge me. But let's get on with the video. These fish are part of the cichlid family, and ideal temperature ranges for these guys are 75 degrees through 82 degrees Fahrenheit. They can grow up to 16 inches, and a minimum tank size for these guys would be a 200-gallon aquarium. That would be ideal for this fish. This fish is very peaceful. It's not aggressive at all. It's also a hardy fish. They're pretty easy to take care of. These fish, they're also easy to breed, and the babies are really hardy as well, so raising them is not that tough. They are a herbivore fish, and they enjoy vegetables such as romaine lettuce, cucumber, and zucchinis. You can also feed them vegetable-based algae wafers. That's the perfect food for this fish. They love to eat that. They are not live bearers, they are egg layers, and they do well with other large cichlids. I would avoid keeping small fish with the pure-side fish. These fish will not do well with plants. They are plant eaters, like I mentioned earlier. The males, they tend to grow a little bit bigger than the females, and they also display brighter colors. This fish also produces a lot of waste, so make sure that your filtration is on point and make sure that you do your water changes. Alright guys, so the next fish that we have here is another fish that gets kind of big. These are called red-tailed sharks. These fish are known to grow up to 6 inches. These fish can also live for a good amount of time too. They have a lifespan of up to 8 years. And an ideal pH range for these guys would be 6.8 through 7.5. Ideal temperature ranges are 72 degrees Fahrenheit through 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Now these fish are very aggressive towards their own kind. It's recommended to only keep one of these in your aquarium at a time unless the tank is heavily planted and it's pretty large. The reason being is because, you know, these fish get very territorial, and that can cause a lot of aggression and fighting and cause them to, you know, injure one another. So you definitely want to avoid that, and you definitely want to keep in mind that they need space and that they need also cover and just anything to break line of vision from one another, from them harassing each other and fighting with each other. They are peaceful when they're young, but they're known to chase and harass other fish when they get a little bit older. Tank size for this fish, a recommended tank size would be a 40-gallon tank. Anything bigger than that will also work and will do incredibly well for these fish. And they are also referred to as a shark minnow. And the funny thing is that they're not really sharks, but they're really cool looking fish. I hope to one day get one of these guys in one of my aquariums as well. Alright, next up we got the ghost knife fish. The ghost knife fish is a very unique looking fish, and it's native to the regions in South America. This fish is able to produce and sense electric signals in the water. A lot of fish keepers love keeping the ghost knife because it just looks really cool. This fish can be easily identified by its white stripes along its body. This fish does not have any scales whatsoever. These fish can grow up to a maximum size of 20 inches, so they get really big. In the wild, these fish are mainly active at night, and they feed on insects on the surface of the water, and they live mainly in creeks, and they're hardly ever noticed by humans in their native regions. Ideal temperature ranges for these guys are 73 degrees through 82 degrees Fahrenheit. An ideal pH range is from 6.0 to 8.0. A minimum tank size for these guys would be a 150-gallon tank and up. That would work best for the ghost knife fish. This fish is semi-aggressive. This fish is also a carnivore, meaning that it is a meat eater and it demands fresh and frozen foods. Alright guys, and the last fish that we have on the list is the 6-banded distichodus. Now, again, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly. Let me know down in the comment section down below if you need to correct me. These fish, they can reach over 30 inches, so they get pretty big. The color patterns are often red-brown and a yellowish color. It has a unique shaped snout that makes this fish really stand out, and that's how you're able to identify them most of the time. In the wild, this fish will eat on worms, crustaceans, insects, and plant matter. These fish are native to Africa from the Congo River area. This fish gets really aggressive, especially as it gets older and older. It might get along with a big Oscar, but they do not have many good tank mates because of how aggressive they can get. In the home aquarium, these fish can be taught to also take pellets and to eat frozen foods. All fish in the aquarium trade are wild caught and they're not captive bred, so a lot of these guys are wild caught. Alright guys, so that makes the list for this top small fish that gets extremely big video. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more videos similar to this one, hit that like button and let me know down in the comment section down below. My name is MasterAquatics and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and bye.
Thank you, young God, for the blessing, ayy.